welcome to Coach's Corner, everyone. I'm Therese Marslak, today joined by the assistant coach of the women's team, Coach Miller. Thanks for being here with us today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
All right, well, congratulations on your win last night. But before we talk about that, I wanted to talk about a little bit about the Waynesburg game and how that was the first game that started a new winning streak. So how did that go?
It was great to finally get back on the right track, I guess. We needed that win, games against Thomas More and W&J, and then before that, Grove City. So it was huge for us to get back, with one in the win column.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've heard that traveling to Waynesburg is a little difficult because they have a different style floor. Tell us a little bit about their floor.
That synthetic rubber surface that nobody likes to play on. It's one of those floors that you kind of fall and feel like you stick to it. Mm-hmm. It's just an adjustment. It's not.
Yeah. Do you think that at all hinders your game whenever you have to go to Waynesburg?
I don't think so. I just think it's, no one wants to play in that orange gym, but I don't think it's really the floor.
Okay, so you won last night. What was the feeling going into the game versus Chatham?
Well, I think it was a huge game for us, being tied with Chatham going into the game in terms of conference standing. So it was a big game, for our momentum and, to go one up on Chatham going into the conference tournament.
Mm-hmm. Now, after these two wins, where does that put you in the conference?
Right now we are fourth, and we're one game ahead of Chatham. Thomas More obviously is first, followed by WJ and Bethany only have 3 losses each. So we're in fourth with Chatham 1 game behind us, and then Teal is 1 game behind them, and Grove City's 1 game behind them. So it's kind of a close race going, into the last week and a half.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes down to the end of pack play, everybody is like on the top of their game. What would happen if Westminster won out the rest of the season? Where would that put you guys?
I think because we're right now 3 games behind the third place team, it would be tough for us to catch them. We'd have to win out and they would have to lose all their games. So I think right now we're battling for that 4th spot, hopefully, and getting a home game in that first round is key.
Now, when it comes to practices and preparing for these games at the end of the season and knowing that every game is crucial in winning, how does that change the atmosphere of the practice?
I think we've gone with the same philosophy all year. We go 1 game at a time, and we work on those practices, focusing on our next opponent and our next opponent only. Right now we're looking at, Saturday's game against Teal, and we're not worrying about the conference tournament or next week. It's kind of 1 game at a time, and that's how we've taken it all year long.
Now, I'm not sure how this works, but whenever it comes to Geneva, since they're not yet part of the actual PAC tournament play, do they have any bearing on where you'll end up if you guys win or would lose to them?
No, they don't. They, the wins and losses versus Geneva and St. Vincent don't count right now towards the PAC. They're still in their transition years, so Saturday's game won't have as much meaning, in conference games per se, but kind of momentum and, revenge from the last time we played Geneva, for sure.
Yeah. Now, looking back at the Waynesburg game to the Chatham game, Waynesburg, you only let them score 26 points, and then you go into Chatham, where 70 points are scored by the opposite team. What is the major difference between these 2 games?
I think Chatham really has some good shooters and some, players who can definitely score from outside, and I think that's the biggest difference from Waynesburg to Chatham. Do we want to give up 70 points? No. I don't think so. You know that, obviously. But, it was one of those games where they scored a lot in transition, and it was kind of an up-and-down game. And thank goodness we were on, so
yeah,
worked out.
Yeah, worked to your advantage. Now, you are the assistant coach, and what do you feel is the best part of being the assistant coach?
Wow, I think one of the benefits is you kind of get to be the good guy sometimes. I know Coach Scott, is the screamer and the yeller, and kind of gets on the team during games and that kind of thing. So it's good to have the positive person on the bench as well, kind of balance each other out.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about being a coach?
I think working with the athletes, definitely. I've always enjoyed, the coach-player relationship.
Okay, now you're coming up against Teal on Saturday, which is a big game. It's also your senior night. They always seem to me like a little hit-or-miss team. Like, if they want to come play, they will come blazing, and if they don't, then they kind of can be swept. So do you see this statement as being true?
Absolutely. You see them, when they played W&J, they go out and scored, 85 points and, beat W&J, and then the next game, they lose to somebody unexpected. So absolutely. I mean, when they have a player, Amber Bodrick, who, when she's on, she could really drop 40 points like nothing. And if she doesn't feel like playing that day, then, she'll score 10. So
now how do you, with the team that's so up and down, how do you work to their game? Like, how do you practice for them?
I think we go into it expecting them to be on and to play their best game, focusing on, if they have a good player like that, focusing on her and what we can do to slow her down. Rumor now is that she has an injury and won't be playing, and we're not sure about that as of yet, but we'll be prepared for her either way.
Right. Now, whenever you hear of Teal, you always hear of Amber, Amber, Amber. So if she's not playing, how does that spice up the game? Like, is that a relief for the team, or do you still really have to take them seriously?
Well, I think you absolutely have to take them seriously. They still have some good athletes, and last time we played Teal, we kind of didn't really focus on Amber. We tried to, put different defenders on her so she would get a different look, but we didn't want anyone else to go off and score 20 points. And so I think whether she's in the game or not in the game, we focus on team defense and not letting anyone have a career night.
Right. What is your prediction for the end of the season? Where do you think you'll end up?
Well, I think we're hoping to finish 4th, which is where we are now, get a home game for that first round of PACs, and then getting to the semis on Friday and Saturday, obviously, most likely at Thomas More. And, anything can happen in tournament time. We gave Thomas More a good game last time we played him, and W&J as well. So it's really about who's playing well at the end of the year.
Right. Do you think it's an advantage? Thomas More obviously is going undefeated right now, but everybody is going to have to travel down to Thomas More. So do you feel that everybody's kind of on the same level whenever it comes to everybody's traveling that 7 hours, and who knows who's going to take the biggest toll on? So what is your feelings of going to Thomas More for that PAC tournament?
I don't think traveling is a big issue for us. We have had a lot of success on the road, and Thomas More is not a fun place to play, but it's conference tournament time, and we'll be definitely ready to go.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Whenever we come back, we will be joined by Gina Brunetti, so stay tuned.
What would it mean to you to have the most updated hair wardrobe using Paul Mitchell? Needing a change or just want to update your style? Then call the Right Place Hair Salon. Their staff has the newest techniques and color formulas for the latest hair collection. The Right Place is a Paul Mitchell focused salon that not only creates new hair and confidence for you, but also offers tanning and waxing services. So if you want it done right, call the Right Place Salon, 724-946-9299, or check us out on the web at therightplacesalon.com.
I'm starving. I love being hungry because when the mom in my family's on the go all day and comes home to our hungry family, I know she's going to serve up Augustine's Italian frozen pizza. The smell of roasted garlic, fresh mozzarella, and zesty marinara lingers throughout the house as if we lived in our own Italian village. And the best part is Augustine's frozen pizza is made right here in Newcastle and can be found in our local grocery store. 6 varieties of Augustine's ready-to-bake pizzas. Love being hungry. Love Augustine's frozen pizzas.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. Right now we're joined by Gina Brunetti, number 22 on the women's team. Thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So how good does it finally feel to be on a 2-game winning streak?
It feels really good. We felt like we were playing well even while we were still losing those games. And we felt like we kept improving even though we weren't getting the wins, but it definitely feels good to get back on a winning streak.
Right. Now, Waynesburg, as I talked to Coach Miller about, you guys only let them score 26 points. 26 points for an entire game. That's phenomenal. Did you guys notice that you were doing that as the game was going on?
Yeah, we did. We knew that they didn't have a whole lot of great shooters from beyond the arc, so we were really trying to pound it inside and not let them get the ball inside, so trying to limit their touches, and we were playing some really good team defense.
Okay. Now, contrary to the Waynesburg game, Chatham, they scored a lot more points. Do you feel like your defense was slipping a little bit, or do you feel like they were just a different team?
I feel like in transition we were not communicating as well as we could have, but they have a lot of shooters and they were shooting the ball well. So that contributed to them scoring a lot too. But transition, we definitely could have done a little better at.
Now, one girl on their team in particular had an amazing game. She had 39 points out of the 70 that they had. So that she scored a ridiculous amount. What goes through your mind when you hear this statistic after a game?
I was shocked. I didn't realize that she scored that many, but I mean, you can't really do too much about that sometimes. Sometimes, you know, good players are just going to go and have great games. So there's not too much you can do about it, but I was pretty surprised.
So, I mean, she was just hitting him left and right, and whoever defends her obviously has to feel some, you know, what am I doing wrong? So what do you say to a teammate to pick them up after they hear, wow, 39 points? Are you serious?
Well, we do a lot of switching, especially like along the guards, and then in transition defense, you're really matched up. You could be matched up with anybody on the court. So I didn't feel like there was one person responsible for her scoring that many points. I think a lot of people were guarding her throughout the game, especially in transition and everything like that. So really, you just got to keep your head up and keep playing defense.
Right. Now, this Saturday is TO, and it always seems that the team comes out so strong against TO. Every time we step on the court, it's just we're ready to attack. Is there any particular reason for that?
I'm not sure. I think they are a little bit. They're a team that gets physical with you on the court, and they might start talking trash and stuff like that. So it makes it a little fun. It gets a little physical out there. So I think we get a little hyped up, and also because it's a packed game. You know, those are always extra special. So.
Now, we talked earlier about Amber Broderick. You played with her. Were you on her team, or did you play against her?
I was on her team.
So how does that dynamic change once you go from being on a team with an all-star to having to play against her?
It's really weird. Now I'm getting used to it. I mean, it's the third year, so I'm getting used to it. But at first, I didn't really like it because you're used to, you know, being on their side and cheering them on and being happy when they're doing well. But then now it's, you don't want them to do well. So it's a little weird, but it's fine. We're still friends off the court and everything, so that makes it nice.
Right. Now, as I said before, it is senior night on Saturday, and there are two seniors. I am one of the seniors, obviously. What is your fondest memory, would you say, of being on the team with us in the past years?
I would have to say the bus trips. We have a lot of fun, especially because we sit by each other. So I'll have some great memories of you and Em on the bus, just talking and everything.
Gonna make me cry. In your mind, what do you think has been the worst loss for you this season?
Like against the worst loss?
Any loss that has occurred, what one really just, every time you think about it, it's just like, gets you mad?
Bethany, for sure. We really just didn't play well, and we let them take us out of our game and out of our game plan. So that's one I'm really looking forward to personally, and I think the team is as a whole next Wednesday. We're really looking forward to playing them again.
Now, you only have a couple games left in the season, so what do you think is your #1 goal for the remainder of the season?
I think beating Teal and Bethany is really important. If we can beat them and then just kind of hopefully put ourselves in a position to get a good seed. But really those two games are really important, and Geneva is also important too, but just because they don't, you know, count in the pack, it doesn't make it as important. So
okay, now this is the time for rapid fire questions, and I did a little Valentine's Day theme, so here it goes. Most boy crazy?
Jess Muesler.
Most nervous around boys?
Roseanne Heineman.
And the girl that will have the most Valentine's Day dates?
Jillian Babish.
All right. Well, thanks for being here with us today, Gina.
Oh, thank you.
And after this break, we'll be back with Coach Kerr of the men's team.
Ice skating, what a great form of exercise and fun. And there's no better place than Hess Ice Rink in Newcastle. Interested in figure skating or hockey? Come in and be part of our Learn to Skate program, open to all ages and skill levels. Hess Ice Rink, the home of the Hess Hockey Association and the area's largest competitive figure skating team, open every day. Hess Ice Rink welcomes all ages to come and enjoy the excitement and sport of ice skating. Let Hess plan your next birthday party or occasion. Hess Ice Rink on Mitchell Road in Newcastle. the behind-the-scenes positions for today's TV broadcast from camera to director are held by Westminster College broadcast communications majors. Broadcast instruction from professionals in the field, plus extensive hands-on experience in both radio and television, can be found close to home. Be part of the action in the future. Learn more about broadcasting at Westminster College. For more information, contact the Westminster College admissions office.
Welcome back. Right now, I'm joined by the assistant men's coach, Coach Kerr. Thanks for being here with us today.
Not a problem, Therese.
Before we get involved in anything coming up this Saturday, let's rewind to Waynesburg. It was a close game. What do you think went wrong?
Well, you know, I think we had a little bit of a hang-up from the W&J game a few days prior. We just won 2 in a row, and we were down at W&J. It was a big conference game for us, for both teams, and had 11-point lead at the half, and we let it get away and ended up losing late in overtime. And I think that there was a little bit of a hang-up from that game, and I was worried about going into the Waynesburg game having a little bit of a hang-up from that. And it's just so hard emotionally when you lose a game that way that was so big for both teams and on their home floor and you had them beat, to let it get away. There is a little bit of an emotional slide. And I think over time, during the course of the Waynesburg game, it showed. We didn't play our best game for sure. Turnovers, you know, we took some poor shot selections. And you know, Waynesburg, you know, they're competing. They want to win too. And so we had a chance early, I think, to blow it open, and we didn't take advantage of it, and they took advantage of our mistakes.
So after that loss, where does that put you in PAC standings?
Right now, we're in 6th place. Just talking to Craig, who's going to be on next. If we can somehow win Saturday, it actually puts us up in a tie for 5th, I believe, as far as the playoffs are concerned. And right now, with only 2 PAC games left, and we have the game with Geneva, which does not count, you know, you just want to try to somehow get a little momentum going into the tournament and try to get the best seed you can.
Now, even though you did come out with that loss, Craig Hannon became the top scorer in Westminster history. How do you react to that, even though you did lose that game?
Well, I mean, I think if you asked Craig that question, I think he would have rather just said, you know what, give me a win, and I don't care about the record. I think that's the way he feels about it. And I think if it was up to him, he would take 4 NCAA playoff appearances, a Final Four appearance to give any of the record back. But, you know, I think Craig has done a great job. I've been able to experience 3 years of his career here at Westminster, and it's been a pleasure. And, you know, it's going to be a sad time to see him go. But just like anything, he'll probably tell you this, that he probably can't believe how quick it's gone for him, his 4 years. But he has made the most of it, and you know, I haven't got a chance to congratulate him, so I'm going to do that now, because after the Waynesburg game, he had went home with family, so I didn't get a chance to even congratulate him. So yeah, I'm going to congratulate Craig now on breaking that record. So.
Yeah. Now, Craig will be leaving you after this season. So next year, how will you replace such a dynamic player?
Well, I wish we could answer that question for you. That is difficult, obviously. Anytime you lose the all-time leading scorer, it's very, very hard to replace. You know, recruiting right now has been going pretty well. I think we have some very, very good candidates that are interested, and I think we have a very good shot at getting them. And I think over time, if they elect to come to Westminster, they could definitely be 1,000-point scorers, if not All-American candidates as well. So that's the type of athlete that we're looking at, and we have a very good shot at bringing in.
Excellent. So what have you done? Chatham obviously doesn't have a men's team, so
Correct.
you guys had this had a little break. So what have you been doing over this break to prepare you for Saturday?
Actually, we did take some days off. I think because we just are so shorthanded right now with our team, with players, I really think that legs were starting to get a little tired, and you know, we needed to take a break to try to rejuvenate our legs a little bit and try to get our mindset you know, back straight again after the 2 losses. So we took a few days off. We took it easy, just some light shooting and things like that. So yesterday was our first day back of a decent go. We went about 1 hour and 45 minutes yesterday, and we'll practice today and tomorrow, and hopefully get things ready for Saturday.
Okay, now I know playing on the girls' team, at the end of the season, I mean, you are just tired. Your body's beat up, and you've been around the same people for the last 4 months, and it can get very stressful and very,
yes.
I mean, lack of a better word, annoying. So
Yes.
how do you control this on your team?
Well, it's one thing that you know, me being the assistant coach, and I think Craig will tell you this too, is I'm pretty upbeat. I'm always looking to joke and have fun and do the things on the side to kind of keep it in an upbeat mood. Okay, you know, Coach Ondenko and Coach Scott, both the head coaches, they're kind of like the devils, and we're like the angels on the sideline and try to keep, you know, the good and try to keep positive spins on things, because they're known as the bad people, because they're going to sit there and rip someone's butt and get in someone's face when they have to. And as an assistant coach, you know, Coach Miller kind of elaborated a little bit on it. We try to keep the mood upbeat, and that's what I try to do in practice as well. And anytime you see me, you'll see the guys laughing and giggling and stuff like that, and that's what I like to do. And I think that helps keep guys, like you said, from getting annoyed with one another, because it is stressful, Therese, as you know. So.
Right. Now, Saturday is against Teal. What's their strongest aspect of the game that you have to look out for?
Well, we don't match up very well with them. I mean, they start 6'8", they start 6'5", 6'6", around there, and they have a very good guard, freshman guard, Devon Adams. And so when we played them up there the first time, we kind of got out of our game of what we wanted to try to do, and they actually had one of their highest point totals of the year against us. So again, I think we have to try to slow the pace down and try to play it at our style and our pace that we want to play at, and not let them dictate the pace.
All right. Well, thanks for being here with us today.
No problem, Therese.
And after we come back, we will be with Craig Hannon on the men's team, so stay tuned.
Why do dogs chase cars? It's the tires. We love them. And Tire Express loves tires as much as I do. Plus, Tire Express is the kind of place you can comfortably send your grandmother. Tire Express is great, with dependable tires at everyday low prices and honest service. And Tire Express is as fast as me, Chico. They get you in and out in a hurry. That's why Matt's been in the tire business for over 25 years. That's 175 in dog years. Tire Express, often copied, never equaled. When it comes to tires, they're the top dog.
You're a huge Western Pennsylvania basketball fan? Then you need to check out the latest online sports coverage at ncnewsonline.com. Bounce, an award-winning internet site of the Newcastle News devoted to area high school basketball. Throughout the season, you'll get a daily fix of schedules, scores, rosters, highlights, opinion, and player profiles, plus video and photo galleries. It's basketball coverage as it happens, designed for you, the dedicated fan. Bounce online at ncnewsonline.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Right now, we're joined by number 20 guard of the men's team, Craig Hannon. Thanks for being here with us today.
No problem, Therese. I enjoy it.
Now, first, I want to congratulate you on becoming the #1 scorer in Westminster history. How does it feel to be going on the record books for Westminster?
Oh, I'm relieved more than anything. I think a lot of my family talked about it more than anything else. A lot of people around me had the record in their back of their mind. I'm more relieved. There is a lot of pressure behind something like that because of all the great players that have come through here, and to put my name at the top of the list, it really humbles me. And I was excited to get it over with, and I'm just glad that that we still have games left, and that wasn't the last game, against the loss against Waynesburg, and that wasn't the last one we had to really think about. So I'm more relieved than anything to get it, over with. Now we can get back to focusing on Westminster.
Right. Now, going into that game, were you aware of how many points you had to score, and what was your feeling before you got on the court?
I knew how many points I needed, and that was actually the first game, and I even told the guys and the coaches that was the first real game where I actually knew that I was close to the record, and I kind of wanted to get it over with because I didn't want to go from Saturday and then back not playing Wednesday and wait another week to get it, knowing that it's in the back of my mind. So I was a little more nervous than I could imagine. Especially with the way the season was going. We lost the W&J. I just kind of wanted to get it out of the way. And like I just told Coach Kerr off air, I didn't know I broke it until after the game. And it was, like I said, more of a relief than anything. Mm-hmm.
Now, were you disappointed that it wasn't at home?
I wasn't disappointed it wasn't at home. I was more disappointed at the fact that what I did in that game didn't help us win the basketball game. I didn't play a very good game overall. And it would have been nice to have it at home, but more than anything, I just wish it would have been in a win. I wish we would have beat Waynesburg and gotten the record. I think that would have been the best scenario for us as a team. And But hey, we got 2 more home games and a game at Geneva. We'll get some momentum going into the PAC championship, and if we can pull three out, it's a successful season.
All right. Now, usually people get the game ball once they even hit 1,000 points, and you're getting the game ball for #1 score. So do you have any place that you're going to put that? Anything
You know what?
special?
My 1,000-point ball right now is in a box that I got last year. I kind of keep that one in a box with my high school 1,000-point. But I think I'm going to get a case for this one. I think this one, it means a little more. It's been a career thing, not just a season thing or something. And you know what? It's a credit to my teammates, too, and it's something that I want to remember those guys by. I've had great teammates. This is the first year that I might end up being the leading scorer on the team. I know my first 3 years I was not the leading scorer on the team, so obviously I had some great players around me. So I think I'll put that one in a case because I just want to remember the time I had here at Westminster, and I think that's what that ball will represent.
Now, like you said, you are a senior and you're going to be graduating soon. What's the one thing that you're going to miss most about playing basketball?
I think the camaraderie. I think just being on the bus rides, and I was just telling Gina and Coach Miller before I came on air, I'll miss the bus rides, and I'll miss the practices, and I'll miss the locker room after the games and the practices. Those things I'll miss. I don't know so much if I'm going to miss the 2 days in the fall break, or if I'm going to miss the practices that we're running steps, but I'll miss those things, and of course I'm going to miss the games. I'm a competitor. I like to compete, and now that that's over, it really makes me, it'll give me time to reflect back on it. But just the family that I had in basketball is something I'll miss more than anything.
All right. Now, of course you're going to miss the games, but one thing that I've been hearing a lot lately is the bus rides. What goes on these bus rides?
You know what? Nothing really goes on. People are probably thinking we act up and get all crazy on these bus rides, and that probably everyone's like, well, that's probably why they're 5 and 17. They go crazy on the bus. But it's just fun. It's fun being around the guys that you've come up with for 4 years, and then seeing the freshmen evolve. And I think that's been the thing about these bus rides is it's fun to, when I was a freshman, they were always telling me I had to double up with somebody. I had to sit with someone. And now I'm the guy in the position to say, hey, you're doubling up. You have to listen to us. I think that's the thing I'll miss. It's just the friendships that I've made. And it's not the bus rides. It's just we're so, on the bus you only have so much room to move, and you're with the people you really care about.
Right. Now, what game in your career do you think you will never forget?
Oh, the John Carroll game in the NCAA tournament. I had a great opportunity to play a great place in high school where we packed the house every night. And when we got to John Carroll, it was packed. The place only seated about 1,000. There were 1,300 people there. The band was playing. It was a competitive game. It came right down to the end. That's one game I'll never, ever forget. I'm sure I'll never forget my last game as a senior, too. That's something, but, we're not going to talk about that one yet. That hasn't happened yet, and I hope it doesn't happen for a while. But that John Carroll game in the NCAA tournament was tremendous, and that's one memory I'll never lose.
All right. Now, do you have any plans on continuing dealing with basketball after you graduate?
You know what? I hope to maybe coach someday. I'd like to get more into the college coaching aspect of it. High school, you kind of have to be a teacher, and since I'm a public relations major, I won't really have the time to fit it in. But I do want to stick around the game. I can't see myself without the game of basketball. Even sports in general. I want to be around sports. With my dad being a sportscaster, I've kind of been bred on sports. So hopefully I can stick around. But yeah, I think my playing days are over. I don't think you're going to see me running around with the Cavs anytime soon. But I think that I hopefully can latch on somewhere with basketball.
Okay, and real quick, one rapid fire question. Okay. Valentine's Day tribute.
That's fine.
Person that will be the first to get married on your team.
First to get married? You know what? I don't. Probably Andy Timko. I think him and his girlfriend have been serious. He's only a freshman, and he seems to be real serious with her. So probably I'd have to say Andy right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being part of this whole season, and good luck.
Protesters were admonished initially, but warned if they were